What if an old person falls out of reality and lands inside of the Backrooms? Do you think they'd survive their journeys through the levels? Or would they not make it past level 0? Today in this video, I'm going to be answering that question with the third video in the series where I send poor innocent people into the Backrooms for our entertainment. In part 1 and part 2, I sent Billy, the kid, to the Backrooms, to dangerous levels, to regular levels and all that, to see if he would survive. But today in this video, we're going to be sending Herbert, a 65-year-old man, through various levels in the Backrooms in order to see which ones that he might be able to make it out alive from. If you enjoy this series, please leave a like so I know. Each like helps Herbert survive the levels even more. Without any more talking, let's go ahead and get into the video, and let's see what Herbert's going to get up to. As with everything else in this series, Herbert's journey begins in level 0 of the Backrooms. For some backstory, Herbert is a 5'9", 65-year-old man with moderate health and wellness. He has hearing aids and can walk decently, and besides that, nothing's really wrong with him. He's just kind of your average older gentleman. Herbert fell into the Backrooms one day when he was walking to his kitchen to get a cup of Jell-O from the fridge, when all of a sudden he glitched through his floor and fell directly into the yellow infinity that we call the Backrooms. And already we have our first problem with Herbert's speed run of this place. Could he actually survive the fall onto the floor of the Backrooms from reality? To answer this question, let's assume that one of two things could happen. One is that he falls through the ceiling, which we've seen in tons of found footages. That's typically how people get to the Backrooms. They glitch through the ceiling, and he lands on the ground below. Depending on how fast he falls, he could injure himself pretty badly. I mean, he is a 65-year-old dude. He's not as tough as he once was, but that's the first thing that could happen. The other thing that might happen is Herbert could actually fall through an area into the Backrooms and land through a diagonal angle through a wall. We've seen this a couple times in Kane Pixel's found footage, and if he did this, that would mean his fall would be much slower and not as steep. He still might get injured, and he's definitely going to be shaken up when he realizes he's in an alternate dimension and stuff, but he's going to be bruised and that's it. He's not actually going to be hurt too bad. I give Herbert about a 70% chance of standing up after glitching into the Backrooms and being just fine. But now that he's actually here, he's met with the surrounding area that he's not going to be familiar with. Obviously, Backrooms level 0 is a very disorienting place with tons of different areas that you can walk to. It's an infinite place. You don't know where you're at. But one interesting thing that will not mess with Herbert's mind about level 0 is the colors and the specific designs of the wallpapers inside of this level. This is a unique benefit that Herbert has since he's in his mid-60s. That means that he would have probably grown up in his childhood with wallpaper that looks like the Backrooms wallpaper, because that specific design originates in real life from the 50s and the 60s. That mono yellow color, those stripes and ornate designs, that was pretty common back in the day and pretty standard for buildings and houses to have. So Herbert seeing this yellow expanse, it won't seem as weird to him because he kind of grew up seeing those colors, even though like to Billy in part 1 and 2, seeing level 0 would definitely be strange because you don't really see yellow rooms like that anymore. But for Herbert, this might look like his childhood home. The biggest factor for surviving level 0 for himself is if he can manage to find out how to no-clip through a surface in order to move on to the next level. If he stays here, you all know what happens, he's gonna starve, but no-clipping is the only way out, and he has to figure out how to do it. I've talked about no-clipping extensively on this channel, and the science behind it, what it is, why it's misunderstood. Check out the video I have on that, it's really good. But one thing you need to know is that no-clipping requires moving at a faster speed than walking. You have to pretty much run or jog to get to these no-clipping zones. Now, considering Herbert's moderate health, even though he's 65, a healthy 65-year-old can still run a mile in less than 15 minutes. So we're gonna assume that he can definitely jog or run for short bursts. Being 65 also offers Herbert another benefit that Billy didn't have, and those are wisdom and life experience. You know, Billy's problem-solving skills are not gonna be nearly as close to Herbert's problem-solving skills because Herbert's like 50 years older than Billy was. So I believe that Herb would have no problem discovering how to no-clip to get to the next level. He might do it through trial and error, or he might luck into it, but I think he can do it. With all this said, I give Herb a 95% chance of surviving level 0. The only reason it's not 100 is just in case he injures himself if he falls into the level. Over Over the years, you've watched me wander through the weirdest, darkest, most disturbing corners of the Backrooms. You've seen me talk about the deadliest levels, the deadliest creatures, the weirdest places, the emptiest places, and every single thing in between. But one thing that I haven't really touched on is how bad you're going to smell after being stuck in the Backrooms forever. Spoiler alert, it is not a good smell. And how you do smell is a big factor in how you're perceived by other people, which is why I love working with today's sponsor, Scentbird. One scent that's really resonated with me recently is the Gentleman's Society by Givenchy, because truly, when I tell you this thing makes me smell like I'm the best thing since sliced bread, I mean it. It's got notes of sage and cardamom, and it smells very earthy and natural. I really like it. And since the weather's been getting colder and it's almost Christmas time and winter time, I've been using Polias Bourbon by Memo because I like to smell like a lumberjack around Christmas time, okay? All you have to do with these Scentbird vials to get the maximum things out of them is to apply them at your pressure points like your wrists, behind your ears, your neck, and they'll last you all day. Scentbird itself is a fragrance subscription service that helps you discover new fragrances and try out different ones without having to buy a whole expensive bottle of it. They have hundreds of different scents from top name brands, so you can customize your scents every single month. Each vial has a generous 30-day supply, and this will last you a good amount of time. And it's also enough to see if you actually like it, and you might want to buy a full bottle of it. So if you want to give Scentbird a try and locate your own signature scent, you can get 55% off your first month's order using code SPOOKY55, or you can scan the QR code that you see on screen right in front of you. If you do this, you'll get your first scent from Scentbird for only $8.97, and then the next month's fragrance will only be $17.95. Again, just by scanning the QR code or going to the top link in the description and using code SPOOKY55, you'll get 55% off your first month's order at Scentbird, and you can find out what really makes you smell good. Thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it, shall we? Thank you for watching the video all the way until the end. Remember to check out today's sponsor, Scentbird. You can get 55% off your first month's order just by scanning the QR code or using Spooky55 at checkout. Just click the top link in the description below to check it out. Entering level 1, Herb would be able to stock up on resources and supplies that naturally spawn in the level for some reason. He would also be able to run into other people and have conversations with them. Since he is 65, he'll be able to talk to anybody and try to figure out what's going on, and he would understand what they're telling him more so than Billy, a frightened kid, would. Now, level 1 is just ever so slightly more dangerous than level 0, maybe not really, but all things considered, Herb is 100% surviving this place, and he's gonna get on to the next level, level 2, unscathed. Now, the goal is to see if Herb can survive the first 3 levels and then a few anomalous levels. So now that he's at level 2, I think he's getting a bit more interesting here. This is a much more cramped and confined area than level 0 and level 1 was. And since Herb can't sprint for a long period of time, he can run and jog, but not, full on sprint. And considering that he can't hide and curl up in small places like a kid could, he might have trouble evading any attacking creatures that might see him here. Level 2 is also a much darker level, and since he's 65, his eyesight's probably not what it used to be, but if he stays calm and calculated and uses his surrounding skills, he can probably find the right door to escape the pipe dream level. I give him a 93% chance of surviving level 2, barring he doesn't get eaten by a smiler. Next up, though, is Herb's real first challenge in his escapade through the Backrooms, you could call it. This is level 3. Now, this is the first outrightly dangerous place in the Backrooms that anybody runs into. The electrical station is large, it's winding, it's dark, it's deadly, but more importantly, there's a lack of supplies and the presence of entities. Not to mention, there's nowhere to really hide. In this level, hounds, skin stealers, wretches, death moths, these are all very common. They're not like around every single corner, but you're probably going to run into one if you walk around at all. So in order for Herb to survive level 3, he needs to be very calm and he needs to listen intently to his surroundings. Now, if Herb is like most 65-year-olds, he might have hearing aids, and if he does that, he can turn the gain up on those to hear sounds sounds from farther away, that could be pretty beneficial. But if he doesn't, he needs to be very calm, very slow, very methodical when he walks through the hallways. That way he doesn't run up on a creature that wants to eat him. There are also meg bases on this level that he might run into, which could probably offer help and supplies if he does want them. Even still, I think Herb is doing fine at this point. As long as he doesn't walk into a room full of creatures, he's gonna be okay. I give Herb a 90% chance of surviving level 3. But now is when things get pretty interesting, because we're gonna send old Herb through a bunch of different anomalous levels in the Backrooms. The first test I want to put him through is to see if he could survive level Fun. Obviously, level Fun is one of those classic deadly areas in the lore. You don't really want to get stuck here for any reason, but I have now thrown Herbert smack dab in the middle of level Fun. The environment itself probably won't be a problem for him to walk around in. It's just a big open area with different hallways. There are ball pits and slides that he might get distracted by, but he's not a kid, so who knows. Again, keep in mind that Herb is 65 years old, so he's not going to approach random strange looking things like bloody cakes or balloons or anything like that. He's probably going to try to steer clear of those types of things. The real downfall for our man Herb is if he encounters a partygoer in any part of the level. He simply won't be able to outrun them for long enough, or hide in a place where he could get away from them, or have the strength to fight one off of him if it attacks. So unless Herb is John Wick, I don't think he's going to survive level Fun, or at least he probably won't be able to. I give him a generous 20% survival rating to beat this level. As if he hasn't been through enough already, let's send Herb to the famous level Run for Your Life. Now hear me out for a second. According to the World Wide Web, 65-year-old moderate healthy men can run an 11 to 15 minute mile pace with pretty much ease. So if Herbert is locked in and he's been hitting the cardio in real life, he might be able to survive this level and make it out alive. That being said, this is not just running in a straight line because the level has obstacles in the way and beds and tables that you could trip over. It's not just easy the whole time. And there's things chasing you, loud noise, and Herb's definitely going to be disoriented while here. So even though 65-year-olds can run, I'm going to give him a 30% chance of surviving level Run for Your Life, simply because I don't think he can outrun the creatures for long enough. Next up, we can send Herbert to a chill level where he can actually vibe and relax and enjoy his time in the back rooms. Let's send him to the pool rooms. This is a place that I think old Herb would like, right? This is an area where you can kind of just float around and relax. It's like Key West, where all the old people go, but in the back rooms. I feel like the pool rooms is where all the old people would go. There's not really that many dangers here. I'm assuming Herb can swim. It's a relaxing place. It's kind of appeasing to look at. It's very calming. On top of that, I'd say Herb has a high likelihood of even just staying in the pool rooms and not leaving, and that's kind of where he stays the whole time. So I give Herb a 100% chance of surviving the pool rooms if he gets sent here, unless he does slip and fall on the slick tiles. I feel like old people do that sometimes. Herbert's main strength that he needs to lean to, you could say, just kind of trust himself in, is his experience and his wisdom. Like I said earlier in the video, when you're 65 years old, you've seen a thing or two, right? You've lived life. So in levels like 0 to 5, the pool rooms, level 188, the Crimson Forest, things like that, he would probably survive and thrive in those areas. Or level 11 for that matter, now that I think about it. Since he's in moderate shape, he's gonna have no trouble keeping up with people, and the only thing is, if something attacks him, he's probably not gonna survive. But overall, because of what I just said, I'm gonna give old Herb a final tally of a 75% chance of surviving the rest of his days inside of the back rooms. Especially if he stays in a relaxing place like the pool rooms or level 11, I think he'd be fine. Let me know what you think down below, and while you're down there, leave a like for Herb. He's a trooper. He tried his best, and he survived most of it. But anyways, thank you for watching the video to the end. If you want more videos in this specific series of sending people to the back rooms to see if they'd survive for our own entertainment, let me know who I should do, leave a like if you want it more, and all that. Comment other ideas for videos you want me to make as well. I'm always looking to add stuff to the list. Thank you all so much for everything. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. With all that out of the way, get ready for Broogmas because it's coming soon. Get ready for the holidays. I got a lot planned, and I'll see you then.